Welcome to Grammar Bites. In this video we're taking a look at the past perfect tense. So let's dive in. To make the past perfect tense, we use had plus the past participle of our main verb. The past participle is also known as verb 3. We usually use the contracted short form of had, apostrophe D, especially in speaking and in informal situations. Here's an example. I'd studied French before I went to Paris. I'd studied French. That's in the past perfect tense. But why do we use it? We use the past perfect tense to make it clear that an action or event happened before another or before a specific time in the past. We use past perfect for the first or earlier action and past simple tense for the second or later action. Here's our example again. I studied French before I went to Paris. Let's put it on a timeline. I'd studied French is an action completed at some time in the past, and it is before another completed action. Before I went to Paris. Went to Paris happened later. I went to Paris is past and finished, but before I went to Paris, I'd studied French, so I could talk to the local people. Here are some more examples. When he arrived, the train had left the station. The train had left is the earlier action. When he arrived is later. Can he catch the train? No, he cannot. He was too late. Last night wasn't the first time they'd met. As you see, they are good friends. They'd met earlier. They'd had a large breakfast, so they didn't want lunch. Of course, breakfast is before lunch, and after a really big breakfast, they were not hungry at lunchtime. Let's look at this sentence in a bit more detail. They'd had a large breakfast. What's the longer form? They had had a large breakfast. This may sound strange, but it is 100% correct. We need had to make the past perfect tense, and had is verb 3, the past participle, of the verb have. Had had. Had had is quite difficult, or at least it's slow to say. This is another reason why we often prefer the contracted form when we speak. They'd had is easier and quicker than they had had. To make questions with the past perfect tense, we simply move had before the subject. Had they met before the party last night? Yes, they had. They are very good friends. How long had the bride known him before they got married? We can connect these actions, events or situations with sequenced words and expressions, such as when, before, after, by the time, and by this time. Some examples. The film had started before I arrived. I missed the beginning of the movie. By the time he retired, he'd made a lot of money, so I guess his retirement years will be very comfortable. She moved to Canada after she'd graduated. She finished university and then moved to another country. We can also use past perfect with already and just. Already makes it clearer or emphasizes that the action is complete. Just is similar, but it also tells us that the action happened only a short time before. Here are two examples with pizza. When I got to the restaurant, the waiter had already served the pizza. We don't know when the waiter served it exactly, but we know it was before I arrived. When I got to the restaurant, the waiter had just served the pizza. We still don't know exactly when it came to the table, but we know it was only a short time before I arrived. It was probably still warm when I got there. Notice the position of already and just in these sentences. before the main verb. Already, however, can come at the end of the sentence. The waiter had served the pizza already. We can also use always with this tense. She had always cycled to work before the accident happened. Now she takes the bus. I'd always wanted my own home. I signed the contract yesterday. In a sequence of events, we don't need to use the past perfect tense for all of the items. We usually only use past perfect for the first. The rest can be in the past simple tense. Before my current job, I'd worked in Istanbul for 5 years. Then I moved to Japan, and then, more recently, I worked in Thailand. Notice how we use then to show the order of the items. Now it's over to you. There's a link below the video for extra practice. Have a great day.